Okay, so tonight is another night of working on my build for Jurg's Cup. And so what I'll be doing tonight is, well, first of all, I'm going to add a layer of clear coat to the backplate here. And I'm going to be using some Deco Art Duraclear gloss varnish so that it goes with the glossy finish of the rest of the guitar. And there's not much to it. But yeah, after that, I'm gonna go and dye the wood. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so here you just see me pouring some of the clear coat into a little cup, and then I just spread it over the back plate with a foam brush. There's not much to it. This part of the video isn't even really that long. But yeah, I do about 2 or 3 coats. The second and third coat are just done off screen because of the amount of dry time that I have to give this. Okay, now you see me dyeing the body. So I didn't use a straight brown for this. I actually mixed a couple of colors. So I took 3 capfuls of the Crimson Guitar's Stunning Stains Crimson Wood Dye, and then added 1 capful of the Crimson Guitar's Stunning Stains Brown Wood Dye, and it just had this really cool color that I really liked. Yeah, and the good thing here is that the epoxy does not absorb the wood dye, so it's just, the wood dye just isn't even going over there. So the gold color will still remain. And yeah, I just do 2 coats just to be safe about it. And then I'm not using any real special tools. I'm just spreading the wood dye over using a shop towel. And yeah, as you can see, I'm wearing gloves. Wear gloves for this. The stains will stick to your skin. They will be hard to take off your hands, and it's not fun. Trust me. And yeah, as you can see, I was running out, so there's my ratio: 3 capfuls of the crimson and 1 capful of the brown. Mix for a little bit. And yeah, this does get on the binding, but I didn't really care that it was staining the binding of the guitar, because I know how to scrape it anyway. And after that, I just take some Q-tips and I run them over the letters on the guitar. It just makes it look a little cleaner. Alright, and now I am moving on to the next one. And yeah, I am putting some shop towel or some tissue in there, just so that when I go over with sanding sealer and finish at the next go around, it doesn't it doesn't seep into those slots that I need at a certain dimension for when I put the bridge in. But yeah, as you can tell for this one, I'm just using the straight brown. You're gonna see why in a few minutes. Yeah, and notice that I'm only doing the top for this. I wanted to do something different for the top, and the reason for that is that the top is quilted maple, meaning that it has these ripples on there that, when done properly, it has this really cool effect. But yeah, nothing to it. And yeah, I did 2 coats of the brown for this. And the reason I did 2 coats is because sometimes there are glue spots that you just can't really dye over on the first round, so you have to go over them a couple more times. And I was just touching up some fine points with the glue spots there. And with that, I just leave it to dry overnight, and this is the result. And now I am going over it with some sandpaper. I'm actually sanding it back with some 320 grit sandpaper. And this is one of the lengthier parts of the guitar build. I have to wipe off the guitar every once in a while. And at some point I decided to try and use my rotary bit because the sanding wheels that are there are a similar grit. And as you can tell, I'm wearing a mask for this because, yeah, there's sand that flies all over the place, so you wanna have that. You wanna have your breathing passages protected. But yeah, the Dremel was kind of a hit and miss there, just because the sanding wheels would constantly break. And yeah, I do go back and forth quite a good bit with the sandpaper and the Dremel tool. And sometimes I use even different grits. Sometimes I was using a 300, sometimes a 220, just because it was a lot to sand through. Which is good, because that just lets me know that I actually had a maple cap and not a maple veneer. The difference between a cap and a veneer is that a veneer is a very thin sheet of paper. It's like a thin sheet of paper. I think it's less than a millimeter thick. that is just glued onto the top of the guitar. Nope, this was a maple cap, meaning that this was a slab of maple that was glued onto the mahogany back. And yeah, this took a long time. Even at 5 times the speed, it was a lot. But yeah, my goal here isn't to sand away all of the brown, just most of it. And as you can see, that's how it went. Took some pictures of the guitar. And now I am moving on to dyeing the lighter color, which is the green. Now you'll see the cool effect of what happens when you use a brown or a darker color first on quilted maple and then go over it in a lighter color after you sand it. And I do about 2 coats of this. Okay, and then I let it dry overnight, and now what you're seeing is I am going over this in a sanding sealer, which is actually shellac. You've seen me use this on the neck of the guitar. And this was just something that was taught to me by Dan Thompson of Guns and Guitars. He actually he learned about shellac when he was trying to find a new wipe on finish for his guitar. And the cool thing about shellac is it gives a relatively short drying time. It's about dry to the touch in about half an hour, and then I can just leave it overnight to fully cure. And the cool thing is that it really makes things pop when you're sand sealing. Yeah, if you look at my pictures on Instagram, which I will put in the link below, or rather in the description below, you'll see how the guitar came out. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm going over the top of the guitar in the shellac as well. And you can see that it's slowly starting to make the wood grain pop. And yes, I'm wearing a mask for this because I do not want to be inhaling those fumes. And this video actually ran a little long, so you're only seeing me put the first and third coats of the shellac on, just so you can see like the real difference it made when I put 3 coats on. Yeah, this is the third coat, and you can see how well the words Desert Rose are just popping off from the guitar. And in hindsight, I'm realizing I should have started with the sides first. I don't know why, but yeah, I should have started off with the sides of the guitar first, and then gone to the back. Oh well, you live and learn. And yeah, I'm now moving on to the front of the guitar. And again, this is the third coat, because I had to scrap the second application just for time reasons. And that's pretty much it. All that's left is to let it cure overnight, and then I go over it with some 4-0 steel wool, I believe. And now it's time to apply the glossy polyurethane finish. And folks, this is nothing like shellac. You have to give an hour's dry time as opposed to 30 minutes. So applying 3 coats takes a little bit longer. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just applying it with a foam brush, much like you saw me do with the back plate. And I'm putting on some gloves to pick up the guitar and brush the sides. Also, don't copy me on this one. Number 1, start with the sides first, but also number 2, wear your mask. At some point, I realized just how bad the smell the polyurethane can get. I didn't really smell it from the back plate because it was just such a small amount that it wasn't really doing anything, but with a can that size that's out in the open, yeah, those fumes can get to you. Okay, and after letting it dry for an hour, I put it on its side to rested it on its back so that I can start doing the clear coat on the top of the guitar. And yeah, I switched places in my workspace, and that's because I had drum practice in the middle of all this. So yeah, you can tell by the mats off on the side. Those are drum mats that I have laying out so that my neighbors don't complain when I'm playing the drums. Okay, and this is the third coat. It's pretty late at night when I'm doing this. And something different here is I'm actually applying the clear coat with a shop towel as opposed to a foam brush, and the reason I did that was just to see how well I can iron out the brush strokes. This eventually does have brush strokes in it, and I don't care because I already know how to take them out. And I'm actually going to be showing that in the next video. But yeah, this is late at night and I put away the drum kit, but I still have the mats out because I also use those as my workout mats. This is really an all-purpose room for me. And just doing the same thing for the front here. And as you can tell, I am wearing gloves because you don't want this on your skin either. Final check through with the work, and then it's all done. Okay, and join me next time when I am going to take out the brush strokes. Finally, I'm going to show you how to get rid of that.